Welcome to Coming Home, helping you survive and thrive in your homeschooling. Recently, I was asked what were the non-negotiables for us in a typical homeschooling day. I think the question is asking about bookwork, but I'm going to take it back a step. So let's assume that there is no sickness or anything unusual, hence the phrase typical homeschooling day. The non-negotiables for us included keeping to the usual routine and rhythm of the day. That is, getting up at the normal time, breakfast, chores, music practice, play, and ready to start bookwork at 9 a.m. And finishing the day being ready for bed at a reasonable hour. The bookwork non-negotiables included aiming to get the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic, done each day, but I didn't require maths to be done every day. 3 or 4 days with maths should be enough. The days when maths wasn't required were the times for including some other subjects or activities. The other 2 R's of reading and writing included the formal requirements of their assigned books and written work of narration, dictation, spelling practice, notes on observations, drafts, essays, and handwriting practice. A broad range of writing opportunities await you, and the above can be combined. For example, handwriting practice, that is, a style such as cursive or a sloping print, can be done at the same time as taking notes on observations, such as botanical or marine studies, also known as gardens, bushwalks, and beach, or perhaps in the final essay or report. It is important your child learns to hold a pencil and pen correctly and write on paper as well as type on a keyboard. Their writing needs to be not only legible, but tidy and properly formed. Letters need to be formed correctly. For example, with no gaps between the top of the letter A and the downward stroke. It doesn't take much of a gap to confuse the letter A for the letter U, for instance. Letters need to sit on the line, not float above. I don't think that's being picky. It's forming good habits for the reason of optimal communication. It's hard to change writing habits, so be sure to form the muscle memory from early days. The same applies to writing numerals. The number 1 should look like a 1 and a 7 like a 7, and not to be mistaken for each other. If you have taken your child out of school and need to spend time building new muscle memory and create new writing habits, this will be time well spent. The habitual practicing of these things are non-negotiable. You are training your child in sound and foundational abilities that will equip them for life. You'll need to balance your expectations according to age and avoid perfectionist demands. Some things matter and some things don't, and you'll have to choose which they are. No matter how reluctant your child is to physically write, and who would have thought that we'd ever have to describe writing like that? It's a non-negotiable activity. There won't always be a keyboard available, and it's important to be able to communicate in writing. And whilst we're talking about keyboards, be sure your child learns how to touch type. Learned whilst they're young is a skill they'll be grateful for when older. Their assigned reading books are also a daily activity and will include the classics, biographies, history and science-related literature. Their private reading is for after school time. For instance, A. Milne is for school time, but Enid Blyton is read during their own time. So books such as Gerald Durrell's My Family and Other Animals is a combination of biology, history, and biography, and falls under the category of literature or a living book. But, in my humble opinion, Harry Potter does not. Harry can be enjoyed outside of school requirements. If you get these 3 R's done in your day, you'll be doing just fine. However, these are the minimum requirements, and on a typical day, you can fit in some other subjects such as poetry, science, history, languages, music theory. Subjects such as geography I haven't mentioned, as these are easily offshoots from the reading your child is doing. For instance, let's say you are reading, or he or she is reading, My Family and Other Animals. Then use the natural introduction of Greece to include in your school day. Use a globe and map and find the areas mentioned in the book. Relate Greece to where you live. Anything that makes it a natural learning experience. This is one of the beauties with the principle of Charlotte Mason's educational philosophy. Perhaps you could use the influence of the book to talk about their food and have Greek food as meals. And if the book triggers your child's interest towards Greek history or language, then be ready to pivot in your plans. Never waste a child's curiosity. More is learned in these times than any assigned work you can give to them. Other non-negotiables include keeping to a time schedule for the day, start time, morning tea, moving from maths to reading or writing, stopping for the daily read aloud, lunch, rest, afternoon activities, dinner, and bath or shower. Punctuated within all of these are the tidying up each day, housework, meal prep, and other everyday functions of a home, including the important skill of how to get on with other people. Teaching a rhythm by doing it is a valuable life skill. What's the point of teaching a child his timetables but not how to clean a toilet or change his bed sheets each week, or how to argue with purpose? All these life activities outside of bookwork are just as important as the bookwork. Spelling, writing, and times tables are all very well, but teaching values and character formation of your child are also non-negotiable. Without the latter, you have clever devils, and our world won't thank you for them. Instead, a well-educated young adult with a good and strong character is a gift to society, and that is non-negotiable.